Hello and welcome to April's third weekly Chippy Chop Shop vlog. If I seem a little giggly, it's because we just did this and I went to start video editing and there was no sound whatsoever. So we did a sound check this time. So I got a dress rehearsal. So in Nendoroid announcements, there hasn't been a lot of stuff because we just had the big mega list of announcements. But as I mentioned when they announced the Nendoroid doll of Chuya from Bungo Stray Dogs, I was hoping that that meant we would get a re-release of the Daisy Nendoroid doll, and it does. So for all those of you who have been coveting that, now's your time. Make your move because it escalated very highly in price and was hard to track down. And keep in mind, with Nendoroid dolls, your purchasing strategy, rather than pricing strategy, your purchasing strategy should be a little bit different because as dolls, they're harder to find on the resale market from other collectors whole in complete sets. What I mean is a lot of times people will hold on to the body and sell parts of the outfit, etc. So if you like every part of a Nendoroid doll, I encourage you to go ahead and purchase it complete, brand new, versus other figures where, you know, if somebody's going to sell it, it's unlikely that they're only going to be selling parts of it. That's part of the reason we established the shop. But the dolls, being dolls instead of just figures, people do purchase them and split them up quite a bit more. Also, they don't seem to have as great a history of re-releases as Nendoroids in general. Now, the Nendoroid doll line has only been around since 2019, but I'm pretty sure the only thing we've had re-releases of are Ryo and Emily, which were the two original characters, Alice and White Rabbit, and now they're re-releasing Daisy and Miku. I might have missed somebody, but in general, they've kind of been a one and done kind of a deal. So just keep that in mind. A part of that is their nature as original characters and that sort of thing. So, because like White Rabbit and Alice got re-releases, but I don't believe the Mad Hatter or Queen of Hearts ever did. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about that, and we'd love to hear kind of your thoughts. Now that Nendoroid dolls have been around for a while, do you dabble in them? Are you obsessed with them? Do you do both Nendoroids and Nendoroid dolls, or just one or the other exclusively? There are a few misconceptions with Nendoroid dolls, so if you don't currently play around with them, just be aware that accessories for them to be sized appropriately should typically be a little bit larger because the hands are a little bit larger, and from the neck down they're more proportional to the head. So if you buy a token Rambu Nendoroid doll or say a Demon Slayer Nendoroid doll, their swords, while identical in styling to the Nendoroid, will be larger so that they'll look more natural. So sometimes I've heard people get that wrong, thinking that the accessories are the same, and they're the same in that, you know, if you had Excalibur, it's still Excalibur, but the scale will be different when you get accessories with Nendoroid dolls. And the upcoming Attack on Titan dolls, now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to look because I'm not sure that they come with their blade accessory, so I'll have to take a look at that. So that's just some thoughts on Nendoroids. In shop news, Trav held his first live stream for our customization of Wizard of Oz Nendoroids. Our hope is that we will have better camera and lighting this coming week, and of course that you'll join us. And feel free, if you've caught up on the video on demand and you have questions, you know, come to the next live stream and share those. Totally fine to toss out stuff related to past content. We're really trying to build a community around customization and all learn from each other.
And with sound that works.
I know, yes, I'm hesitate to say with better sounds and visuals because this is the camera we're going to be using, and so we won't believe it till we see it, right? But at least we tried to keep a good sense of humor about all of these things. You know, being shop owners and dabbling in the joys of YouTube is quite the adventure. So the other thing I wanted to mention is, if you are an international customer, please, 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 please don't do anything weird with your name on your account with us, because that name automatically goes on your shipping labels. And if you're not familiar with international shipping, we have a lot of things we have to do in order to ship internationally, including putting on the label the country of manufacture of what is in your box, what it is, so it looks like it says something like it's a tricycle, but that's because that's the
origin code.
The origin code for dolls and figures and miniatures. But what we have found the hard way is, it appears that if you put an initial for your name or some kind of funky name, the post office may not accept it. We had a package returned to us that didn't even get to leave the country, and even though it has a sticker on it where there's little boxes that the post office should check to tell us what the problem is, they didn't check any of them. And so we were head scratching and trying to figure out what the problem was. Trav talked to the post office. Everything we had done correctly, so we couldn't figure out why this package was coming back to us. Evidently, it's because the person had used an initial as their surname. So we need your full name, and I assure you, we are a very small business. We're not associated with any of the big corporate entities that try to steal your information. So we're not selling your name or info to anybody. And it helps us out too. We have a lot of people who email us from various email addresses and handles and stuff. And it's easier if we kind of have one identity for you. It just helps us to track everything so that we know we're talking to the same person, whether we're talking to you sort of on Instagram or email or whatever. So if you email us and we've chatted on Instagram about a product or something, remind us who you are, because that helps us to keep the conversation going. And please, yes, if you are an international shipper, please dot all your I's and cross all your T's, just as we try to do, so that everything goes smoothly. And if you're a US customer, thank the heavens you don't have to deal with this, and that we're domestic, and it makes shipping a lot easier on all of us. The other thing I wanted to mention is I will be posting some more stuff up on Mercari. I've got some Twisted Wonderland merch that I have been meaning to post, and my goal is to get that done tomorrow. So I believe that now you can search for sellers on Mercari. It used to be harder. So pop in Chibi Chop Shop and hopefully you can find us if you're looking for something like that. And in fandom news, today I was going to share the Itabag I mentioned that I've been working on. I'm a big Itabag person. I have a ton of them. I should be an octopus so I could have one on each arm, but I haven't perfected that genetic mutation yet. So we are going to the California theme parks in about 3 weeks, and I really need this vacation. And I wanted to represent some of the lesser represented characters. Some of these are big ones, but some of my favorites, some of my memories of previous trips to Disneyland. And so I wanted to create an Itabag, because when we've been there before, I've worn some pins on lanyards, and I am so obsessed with my merch and the things that I love that I was so paranoid that I was going to lose them. The whole trip I kept going like this, checking them. That's annoying. So this is the bag. Now usually I spend more for the actual bags. I like a good quality bag. I don't like bootleg stuff. I don't know who the original designer of this bag was though, but it's pretty much one that you can find anywhere. I don't think it's a direct bootleg, but it might be if somebody's design from a long time ago. You can find this bag on AliExpress, Amazon, Etsy, wherever. It's about a $20 bag. I ended up buying it on Amazon because it was about the same price on Etsy, but factoring in shipping and convenience and everything, it was just faster to buy it on Amazon. I went with a game controller theme, because part of the reason we're taking this trip, a big part, is that my boys want to go to Mario Land at Universal, and I haven't been to Universal since I was like 4, so I'm really excited about it. But this bag is about me and the characters I love. So we have some pins that I bought on previous Disney trips, and then some characters that I feel like don't get enough love in the theme parks. These 3 here are fig pins of the lead characters from Onward, which came out during the pandemic, doesn't get enough love. It's about 2 boys, one of them's obsessed with D&D, and it's really cute, and their mom, you know, I'm a mom of 2 boys, and so I really identify with it. They remind me of my nerdy boys. And I wanted to show you a little bit more about my bag, because a lot of people talk as though Itabags need to be really complicated. You need to be able to sew to make an insert. And I want to show you how cheaply and easily, I did this. That thing making all that racket is a Stitch 626 key. That was a Japan exclusive that I ended up importing with some other Stitch stuff at one point. But this is foam board that I had actually purchased for another project, and it was totally left over in my craft bin. Instead of using fabric to line and cover the insert, I actually used a piece of my kid's art that was literally on my floor in my bedroom because I didn't know what to do with it. He made this at some point, I think in middle school, and it just hasn't really found a place. It's part of the flotsam and jetsam of junk in our house because I like it, but not enough to frame it and have it up all the time. And I didn't quite know what to do with it. So I asked Elliot if it was okay for me to use it in this project, and he was like, oh yeah, of course. So I spray glued it onto a piece of craft foam. And then, because the craft foam's kind of thick, I bought from Temu for like about $2 for 10, these little locking pin backs so that everything would stay in place. I don't typically use locking pin backs on my bags, but I also typically don't have this many of this style of pin. My other bags are mainly all can badges and acrylics, like you see with most of the anime characters. But I just wanted to highlight that basically the supplies for making this insert for this bag cost me less than $5. The bag was only 20 something. So there are ways to make really nice Itabags and still have money for the merch that goes inside of them, because that's really what you should be spending the money on. And as you'll see here, I focused a lot on Twisted Wonderland and Kingdom Hearts and my favorite characters that I feel like it's unlikely to find merch of at the parks. This Indiana Jones pin with Mickey is from a previous trip to the theme park. We got that on one of our trips. So, and just to show you another Itabag that I've made, I'll do a room tour at some point so you can see various ones. But this is a more traditional Itabag in that it focuses on one character instead of just a hodgepodge of things. This is my Itabag for the Assassination Classroom character Nagisa. This is almost all authentic merch. With these pieces of art here are fan art, but everything else is official merch. And what I did with this bag, I put a sparkly ribbon on the handle, sparkly ribbon on the bottom just to give it a little bling, a bow that kind of drives me a bit nuts. And I put lights in this bag. So you can easily buy lights with a power pack, and it looks really cool when it's lit up. But in my avarice to purchase merch at the convention and cram everything in my bag, I smashed this and I cannot get it working again. I've tried to tape it, and when we were filming one of this and I appealed to the community to help me fix this with an idea, Trav said, oh, I can fix that. He did not offer this in the previous like 3 years. This has been a problem. So
that's right, I must have drowned it out when you asked.
Yes, when I come back from the convention and I'm telling him all the things that are so cool, he's kind of like, that I'm glad you had a good time, honey. So, so I'll show you more Itabags at some other point. Oh, and I did want to show one other thing. Today I took pictures and split Mysterious Neko X, and I just wanted to highlight these cool faceplates. I'll put some B-roll pictures of what they can look like with other hairs other than the ones they came with. But Mysterious Cat X, or Neko X, whatever you want to call it, has these chibi faceplates that have eyeballs that remove, just like the original one. This Neko character, there's one similar that were the very first Nendoroids, and when we started the shop they were like 25 bucks. You could get them very easily, and honestly no one seemed to want them, and then all of a sudden things changed and their price went sky high. They're over $100 now. So if you like this character from any of the Fate franchise things, buy this one. It's really cool because the original one, the faceplates couldn't work in other Nendoroids, but these can. And so they're really fun, and if you were to buy both of these faceplates or get the Nendoroid, you can swap the eyes back and forth from them. And so as long as you have a Nendoroid that doesn't have super long bangs, this works with it. I was able to get them to work on Itadori's hair and Snow White's, and so I'll post some pictures to show you that. So, and then I think we're gonna play Name That Nendoroid faceplate.
Yes,
and
everyone's favorite game, Name That Faceplate.
And we can't use the ones we just used.
That's
because
right.
That would be a spoiler.
I grabbed different ones. So here's faceplate number 1. Any guesses at home?
Oh, this is the Yuru Camp chick, the one with the hat.
They all have hats.
I guess they kind of do. This is the one that also has
a hat.
Right, it's not a skull cap, but
Stocking
yeah.
Cap, yeah.
And she has the ponytail, kind of like mine actually. And she has the In the Hot Springs body. What's her name? It's not Chica.
It's only 3 letters.
Oh God, it starts with a vowel, I want to say. Inu?
Awe.
Awe, God. Okay. This is how characters go for me. It's like
she can tell you all the details of which character it is. Alright, number 2.
Oh, this is Izuku Midoriya from My Hero.
Yep.
The question is, which of the many Midoriyas is it? Is it his standard one? Is this the standard? Okay.
The original.
Okay, alright.
Right. Faceplate number 3.
Earlier I recognized Nishinoya's faceplate, but I thought it was the newer Nishinoya, and it was not. Oh, this is the guy from Clockwork Orange.
Yes, yes.
And
do you remember the name?
That's what I'm trying to think. What is his name? No, I think I'm drawing a blank.
Alex Delarge.
Okay, yeah, I never would have gotten the last name.
I remembered Alex, and then I thought it was something, and I couldn't quite place it, and I had to look it up.
Yeah, no, I would not have got that. But that's an easy one. When you first handed it, when you first handed it to me, I saw these, and I didn't.
It looks like a JoJo.
Well, I didn't the angle it was coming at me, I didn't realize they were both not like this. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then I looked at it like this. I'm like, oh, it's the only the one eye. So, yeah.
Well, there you have it. 3 for 3.
Yay! I only got
2 out of 3.
When we did this a few minutes ago, the first time we ran through this, he was a meanie and he chose an Osamatsu brother face. And I'll have to put a little clip of me going, great, there's 6 of these guys. You expect me to know? And it wasn't one of their expressive faces, it was just, and I'm like, great, I don't know which Osamatsu brother this is.
There's 6 of them.
It was Matsuno, but
right.
I did not know that. So, thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week.